Hello, I'm Ginger Delgado in the Denver Post newsroom with today's Behind the Headlines. Today is Veterans Day, and if you haven't yet seen our story titled Lives of Service, we encourage you to do so. You can find it online at extras.denverpost.com/veterans. The story is about 10 veterans from Colorado who are sharing their experiences and expressing their thoughts on the new Aurora VA hospital. Joining me now is Denver Post photojournalist Cyrus McCrimmon. And Cyrus, you were deeply involved in this story, you and reporter David Olinger. Tell me a little bit about your experience and why you decided to pursue this story.
Well, this project started back in the summer. The newspaper was doing a big project on the whole VA hospital in Aurora and some of the delays and the cost overruns. And my senior photo editor, Megan Leiden, said, I want a portrait series of Colorado veterans that are directly impacted by this project. And she wanted to put faces with these stories. And a lot of them are number stories and budgets and behind the scenes of what was taking place as that construction project was delayed. And so we started, David gave me a list of some contacts he had, veterans here, and I started there and started calling them, and everybody was very responsive and wanted to share their thoughts about the hospital and were eager to participate with the photos.
Okay, and this was an effort obviously to see the human side of the story as well, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. The photos that you took are in black and white. They're so striking and so poignant. Tell me a little bit about how you captured that emotion in those incredible photos.
Oh, well, we decided early on to keep the portraits very straightforward. We wanted to do them in black and white. We wanted a very simple background, a black background. And we didn't want the photographs to be environmental. We didn't want it to be about where they live or where the veterans worked, but we wanted it directly just their face, sometimes their hands, but just wanted a very direct photographer and subject connection, and hopefully a subject and viewer connection as well. So.
Wow, well, you did a great job with the lighting and just how you structured those photos. It was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I took for each one of those, I took a black backdrop and used a little 3-light setup, but I carried that setup to many different locations.
Yeah.
Right? I photographed in hospital rooms, I photographed in a conference room at a hotel, one of the subjects just in his living room. We set it all up. So with all of them, it was difficult to try to duplicate the lighting, but that was very important, that it was all equal for them.
Right. Now tell me a little bit about their reactions, if you will, in regards to the VA hospital. When you asked them the questions about the delays and the money issues, what did they have to say about it?
Well, everybody was eager to participate because this has been a massive project. The opinions really ranged from very positive about the project to very upset by the way it's been handled.
One vet even said, sadly enough, there were vets that weren't going to be able to use it. Is that correct?
Right, absolutely. That was Tom Bach, and he was talking about good friends he has that are World War II veterans, and he said he's lost some of those friends to time. They've passed away
before the project
this could be completed. So.
Wow. So did you find that some supported it, some didn't? It was kind of a mixed bag of reaction.
Absolutely. Everyone seems to support it, but some are very confident that it's on the right track and it's going to be done and it will be an amazing facility. Others are a little more skeptical that because of the problems that they've seen, that it's not going to quite be what it should be. Others had the reaction of like, boy, I love my doctors, I love my nurses, but this building of hospitals is not in the realm of the VA. They shouldn't be managing that.
Well, and then there's James, is that it? James Weaver is his name, that face that we saw of James Weaver, just so...
Mr. Weaver, he was amazing. He's 91. He was a World War II veteran, and he came in and just had the most expressive face.
He's adorable.
Yes.
I mean,
and what a story. He was injured in New Guinea in 1943.
Yeah.
And but just an amazing man. He had kind of a scowl when he talked about some of the VA, and then he also had this magnificent smile as well. So he was wonderful to photograph.
And he's one of those who said the VA should never even have been in the hospital business, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He questions their ability to pull these giant projects together.
Wow. So finally, tell me what is the one thing that you learned from this story, Cyrus, that you didn't know going in? Was there anything that this story taught you?
Well, the biggest surprise was the range of opinions that they would all have. The very first portrait I did was of Bernie Rogoff, a Korean War veteran. And Mr. Rogoff is the most positive, optimistic person you'll ever meet. Just a wonderful gentleman, and extremely confident that this project will be spectacular for veterans. And they just have to be patient, and the work's getting done, and it will be completed.
Good. So there were actually some vets that saw the good in all this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Not necessarily the negative.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. And thank you so much for joining us today to talk about that story. Really appreciate it. Those are some beautiful photographs you took.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Well, that's today's Behind the Headlines. I'm Ginger Delgado in the Denver Post newsroom. Thank you for watching.